Welcome back to a timey-wimey pod where we watch every episode of Doctor Who from 2005 onwards. My name's Rebecca,
I'm Haley.
and today we are discussing Series 3, Episode 1, Smith and Jones.
I say it every time we get to a new season of Doctor Who, but I can't believe we're here.
I'm so excited to be in Series 3. This is one of my favorite series for sure, especially in the second half, but I'm so excited to be here to talk about 10 and to talk about Martha. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I am so ready.
Are you ready for our first fantastic facts of Series 3?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this aired March 31st, 2007. Haley, how old were you?
I was 6 years old.
I was also 6. You were a fresh 6.
I was. It was like, 2 weeks after my birthday?
Yeah. I read that it was supposed to come out on your birthday, but then for some reason it got pushed back. I forget why.
How rude. Doctor Who, you can make this right by premiering on March 17th.
Yes. They have to now.
They really do.
This episode was written by none other than Russell T Davies and directed by Charlie Palmer, who does more of this series and then nothing else until series 10.
Random, but interesting.
All right, so this episode has so many returning actors playing different characters, more than just the ones you think. So, for the obvious ones, we all know Freema appeared in Doomsday as Martha's cousin Adiola, and Adoja Andoa played Sister Jet in New Earth, one of the cat nurses. Anne Reed, who plays the villain in this episode, appeared in a Seventh Doctor story called The Curse of Fenric. And then Trevor Laird, who plays Clive Jones, appeared in a Sixth Doctor story called Mind Warp. So the whole Jones family is just no stranger to Doctor Who. And it's funny considering how the actress who plays Tish is returning for the spinoff.
Russell T Davies just really liked Martha's family.
I guess so. He was like, bring them back. Get them back in here. And also in this episode, something else returns. Ten's pajamas that he's wearing in the hospital are the same ones that he was wearing in the Christmas invasion.
How did I not notice that at all?
Me too. I've been watching this for years and I didn't notice until I read that. And then I was watching it and I was like, it's so obvious. He even wears the same blue robe. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, me either.
My last fantastic fact is that Russell T Davies originally toyed with the idea of having Martha be from the past, specifically 1914, which we later do go to later in the series with Human Nature, Family of Blood. So we almost got a companion from the past. Almost.
I've mentioned this before, and I will say it again. BBC, be brave and choose a companion from the past or from the future. It's not that difficult.
I agree. Stop being cowards. All right, are you ready to jump into the episode?
Yes. I need to make a formal apology to Martha Jones. Because
okay, we're here.
Yeah, and don't act like you're innocent in this too, Rebecca, because I know you're not.
I will be making my apology as well.
When I first watched Doctor Who, Martha Jones was a companion I hated. Yes, hated. And it was mainly because she was the companion after Rose. And I felt that she was in love with the Doctor, and it was ridiculous because no one could ever replace Rose. And I was very threatened that she would replace Rose. Even though Tin says to Martha at the end of Smith and Jones, you're not replacing her. I didn't believe him. I thought it was going to be a Rose and the Doctor 2.0. And for that reason, I did not like Martha Jones at all. And I just want to say, Martha Jones, I am so sorry for all of that nonsense because you're an icon. Martha is such an underrated companion, in my opinion. I really didn't give her the chance she deserved. And now, years later, I really, really love and appreciate Martha. And I think she did a marvelous job as a companion. I think Freema was amazing as an actress. And so, yeah, so Martha, Freema, I'm so sorry.
I had a similar experience. I didn't necessarily hate Martha at all, but I was very checked out of the show for a little bit after Doomsday. The first time I watched, I think I took a 5-month break after
Yeah.
watching Doomsday and The Runaway Bride. But yeah, Martha just I didn't hate her, but she wasn't working for me at first. But over the years, I have just fallen more and more in love with Martha Jones. She's so
Mhm.
iconic. She's constantly putting in the work, constantly keeping everything going, in control, alive. We'd be
Mhm.
nowhere without Martha Jones. And not a day has gone by since Russell T Davies returned that I have not been asking for Martha Jones to also return. I need her to meet the 15th Doctor. I just feel like legally it has to happen. We need it outside Bad Wolf Studios, begging, pleading, praying. Please make it happen, someone.
And can we talk about how Martha Jones is not in the new Doctor Who spinoff? Because that makes 0 sense.
Criminal.
0 sense. RTD brought back the actor who played Alonzo in Voyage of the Damned. He brought back the actress who plays Tish, but not Martha Jones?
I guess
Why?
not. I don't know. And Freema is busy, to be fair. Like, she's always doing
True.
something and something. Happy for her. Glad she's working, but just come for a visit. Just one day, a quick little and to not include her in the 60th, criminal.
Criminal.
Charges will be held against you.
100,000%. Literally everyone but Martha was mentioned, and it's a crime.
You're right. She didn't even get a mention. The first thing I want to say about Martha in this episode, I really like her hair in the beginning with the denim jacket. And I'm
Mm,
mentioning this because Martha doesn't get a lot of good fashion moments. So we have to recognize when she does.
that is so true. And I will say that is probably my biggest gripe with Martha, and it's nothing to
Mm-hmm.
do with Martha, it's to do with the costume designer. I don't know why that decision was made to not change her outfits throughout the season, because I feel like she has the same outfits on.
No, she basically does.
I would have liked to see her more for sure.
You can tell she is the oldest daughter in this family because she is talking to every single person, trying to make everything work for her brother's birthday, get everyone together, get everyone to get along. I just know she's tired. I'm tired for her.
Also, I'm just gonna say it here, but Martha's dad and his girlfriend,
Oh.
boy, what? Why?
What are you doing? And then she was like attacking Martha at the party, saying that what happened
Mm-hmm.
at the hospital didn't happen. No,
Yeah, she's awful. And I hate
not a
this scene
good
where
look.
he's like, I'm putting my foot down. I'm
I'm
putting my
putting my
foot
foot
down.
down.
Like, what are you, her father?
I know. I mean, he could be like,
No, that's so true, actually.
yeah, like, no, it's very messy. The Jones family drama, kind of living for it, kind of fun, kind of messy.
Honestly, I love their messiness in this episode and the whole season. They're so great.
Do you remember what you thought the first time 10 came on screen taking off his tie at the beginning?
I remember being really confused, but I also thought that it was like some sort of timey-wimey thing.
Mm. I always love his reaction to Martha telling him about it in the hospital when he's in the hospital bed. And he's like, I did? Why would I do that? Like, he's not like, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. He's like, that sounds like me, but I don't know why I did that.
No, literally. I love the whole gag with him in the hospital bed. And the doctor's like, yeah, I'm going to recommend him to get psychiatric evaluation because Tin just goes off about something about Ben Franklin and one of his time travel stories. And it's just really funny. And then him being like, shh to Martha when she realizes he has 2 beating hearts.
It's kind of crazy she doesn't say anything. Like, girl, you're in med student and you're not freaking
Yeah.
out about this man having two hearts.
She's remarkably calm about it all.
Yeah. And just doesn't say anything. I'd be like, we have just uncovered a great medical discovery. This man has two hearts.
No, literally, I would have been like, how are you alive? Oh my gosh, please, you need to be studied.
We also need to talk about the moment when Martha asks if he has a brother, and he says, no, not anymore.
Which is really interesting that that's mentioned in this season of all seasons.
I thought the same thing. I do really love the whole premise of this episode, them stuck in the hospital, it's raining, and then the rain, it's going up, everyone freaking out. It's always such a good moment, such a good scene. I love Martha on phone with Tish, and Tish is freaking out, and then the other med school student is freaking out, and then they're on the moon with the Jadoon. Like, this is just a great opener, and it doesn't get enough credit.
It really doesn't. I also love the entire concept. I love that we have a Jadoon platoon on the moon. It's great.
Yes, me too.
Sorry, I had to say that.
You had to.
Something I thought about watching this episode, imagine being a patient in this hospital when all of this went down.
No,
like, can you imagine?
Yeah, forget the Daleks, forget the cigarettes, forget the Christmas star. If you were in this hospital, that is the craziest thing that has ever happened to you. And then for you to come back and no one believes you, and everyone's like, oh, it was some group hallucination. And you're like, no, we were on the moon. We were gone. And there was Jadoon.
I'm not going to even lie to you. If I was a patient at this hospital, I would have just forced myself to sleep through all of that because I'm in the hospital. I don't want to be here. I'm all of a sudden on the moon. I don't know if I'm going to survive and get back. So what's the point in being awake for all of it?
Oh, yeah. You'd be pissed. I know it.
For those of you who don't know, I haven't mentioned this. This is my tell-all moment. I'm a chronic hospital patient. So if I was a patient, I'm not kidding. I literally would force myself to go to sleep because no.
You're like, not today.
No, I have to deal with everything else, not this.
10 is so mean to Martha's friend and fellow med student. I know she's kind of freaking out, but he's so mean to her. Like, he's terrible to her.
Wait, what do you mean?
He says one thing to her, and then when he and Martha are like going to go outside, he points at the other med student and is like, not her, she'll slow us down. And then he said something else before that I can't remember. And I'm just like, he's so mean to her.
No, he is rude in that moment because, sir, what do you mean? Because for somehow, Martha Jones, love you queen, I don't know how she remained so calm, but the other med student, she didn't deserve that.
Yeah. Everyone else in that hospital was freaking out too. Like, they were falling apart.
No, they were. So for 10 to just be like that, I know he was trying to figure things out, but he should have been more considerate.
I love the scene of 10 and Martha on the balcony talking, and they talk about the Battle of Canary Wharf. And, I love when 10 says, standing in the earth light. Something about that phrase really itches part of my brain. I don't know why.
It's such a good line, actually.
I know. And I love when how she refuses to call him the doctor, and she's like, you gotta earn that title. Like, I'm not just calling you that.
And I love that. I love that she is just so strong in it, and that she trusts him because she's going around investigating with him, but she's still like, no, you have to earn the title. I'm not just gonna call you the doctor. So yeah.
I love when she says, yeah, me too, if I pass my exams. So cute. I feel really bad for Mr. Stoker, who is our villain's first victim, and he talks about wanting to retire and to go to Florida, and then he's like, Florida's right there because they can see the earth. And he talks about how his daughter is still in university, and then she sucks his blood.
So sad. I completely agree with you. And Mrs. Finnegan, the evil lady, sucking the blood with a straw is so gross.
It's so gross. But I think they should bring So she's a plasmavore, and I think they should bring that back and do a vampire
Mm,
episode.
yes. Oh, I completely
Hmm.
agree with you. And for anyone who's like, well, we had a vampire episode with the vampires in Venice. No, they weren't real
Okay,
vampires.
that was over 10 years ago. We can do it again.
Exactly. And we can do it with Plasmavores. I really like your idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, the concept is really interesting. Like, yeah, it's gross, but it is really interesting.
Yeah,
And I really kind of like it. I love this whole episode. I feel like I haven't really said that, but maybe I have. I don't remember, guys. I'm on the struggle bus today, but I really like every aspect. So yeah.
me too. Watching this. This is one of those episodes that I know I like, but then when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, I really like this episode. Like I forget just how
Yeah.
good it is. It's definitely one of Russell's stronger series openers for sure.
Oh, I completely agree with you.
Okay, we should talk about the Jadoon. What do we think about them?
I love the Judoon.
Mm-hmm.
They're so
Yeah,
fun to me.
they are really fun, very silly. I'm surprised like they haven't shown up more, you know?
They've shown up again after
They
this.
have, they have, but in very small contexts and moments. And I know Chimnall did a fair bit with them, but I'm just surprised we haven't seen them more than we have.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I would like to see them more. I think like the whole concept of them being interplanetary like thugs for hire
Mm-hmm.
is really fun.
Yeah, definitely. And how they also just kind of suck. Like they're going
Yeah.
around scanning everyone and getting the wrong readings because she's like they don't even know what they're looking for. And then they
Mhm.
almost leave everyone to just like die in that hospital. It's not great.
No, it's really not. And I find it so interesting that according to galactic law, they don't have any jurisdiction on Earth. So they just take the whole hospital with them. Like they take it to the moon.
I like that can't be allowed, right?
I know, because I'm like, if you have no jurisdiction on Earth, how are you allowed to take a hospital on Earth and Earth's jurisdiction onto the moon? Like,
Yeah,
that just
also
never
that's
makes sense to me.
Ormoon. So that's still like us. That's Ormoon.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
So I don't know, kind of crazy, very
Very
corrupt.
crazy. They are corrupt because, like, anyone who, like, tries to fight against them, they literally execute, which is
Oh
just like,
yeah,
that's just too much.
yeah,
Like, you're
totally.
expecting people to, like, not freak out.
Yeah. No, it is so funny that guy that tries to smash the vase, and I'm like, what did you think that was gonna do? Like that's literally a rhino, my man.
No, I know. One of my favorite bits this entire episode is just like the whole scene when the sonic screwdriver gets fried and he's just standing there, my sonic screwdriver.
I love
It's
my
broken.
sonic screwdriver.
And
And
it's
was so
just it's
sad.
peak 10.
It really is. One of my favorite bits is when Ten is trying to tell Martha that he's not human and he just looks at
Mm,
her. He's like, oh, if they're looking for someone that's not human, that's going to be very bad for me. And she's like, why? And he just looks at her and she doesn't believe it until the Jadoon scans him. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're not human.
yeah, I love that moment and I want your opinion. What's your opinion on the genetic transfer moment between the doctor
Oh,
and Martha?
oh dear. Oh dear. 10 had to do it to her, I guess. Um, no, it's a crazy moment for sure. Yeah, I can't even be mad at Martha for falling for 10 after this because if that was me and someone kissed me like that, I can't even. I would be doing the same thing, so I can't even be mad. But definitely, that was definitely a choice.
It was a choice for sure. One that caused me a lot of turmoil when I first watched
Oh,
the show.
me too. I was 14-year-old me was
Mhm.
pissed watching this.
Yeah, it was a choice, but I also don't blame Martha because
Yeah.
what a mood. Like
Oh yeah.
and like who wouldn't fall in love with a doctor? Like let's just be real. You like hang out with him, then you end up traveling with him. Of course you're going to fall in love with the man.
Yeah. I always think like you should have explained a little bit better what was going on and what you were doing and what was happening, but I get that there was no time, but still.
Yeah, something I realized, 10 has kissed every companion.
Oh my
He
gosh,
kissed
you're right.
Rose. He kissed
Yeah.
Martha. He kissed Donna.
Yeah.
Well, technically she kissed him, but just to shock him. So, like,
Yeah.
technically that doesn't count, but
No, you're right. What do you think of the little run moment that we get where after the Junoon scans him and Ten says run and he grabs Martha's hand and you know it's so purposely calling back to that iconic moment of in Rose. What did you think of that?
I think it's honestly such like a classic scene for the Doctor and any of his companions to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, like, that homage to Rose. And I love every time the Doctor tells his companion to run because it makes me so happy. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's just like brings the fuzzy, happy feelings and memories of watching these episodes.
I agree. I think it was a really fun callback and just an exciting way to embrace a new character and be
Mm-hmm.
like, this is the show now. This is who we have, and it's really fun and exciting, and I liked it.
Me too. The moment in the MRI room where
Mm-hmm.
Tin soaks up all of that radiation and then he like jumps to get it out of him. It's so funny. It's so like random, but I just love it because it always makes me laugh.
And then he throws away both his shoes and is
Yeah.
just walking around that dirty hospital barefoot for the rest of the episode.
You all could not pay me enough money to do that. Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
I know what's on those floors. Actually, I know a fraction of what's on those floors. No.
Yeah,
No.
no,
If
thank
you want to
you.
live, don't do that.
No, I love later on when he's in, I think it's the MRI room again, talking to the villain whose name I keep forgetting for some reason, and he's just rambling on like an idiot, pretending to be a human, and it's just so funny.
Yes. I love anytime the Doctor pretends that he's like a human. He pretends
Mm-hmm.
he's not who he actually is. It's so funny. And he's just going on and he's like, yeah, I took that GCSE course and, you know, this and that. And it's just so funny. And like the evil woman, she's just like not catching on at all.
I know, I love it so much, and he's like, "Oh, what's that thing called?"
Oh, same. And just the way the evil lady says this all, like she says this unprovoked. She's like, this magnetic pulse will fry the brainstems of every living thing within 250,000 miles, and only half the Earth facing the moon will be affected by this. The other half will be fine. And Tin is like, no, that's weird. You're talking like you're some kind of alien.
And then he's like, "No, you are. I'm talking to a real life alien." It's like it's so funny. I love it. Underrated
It's good.
moment.
Underrated moment for sure. It's giving 12 when he's like, oh, it's
Yes.
bigger on the inside.
My my knowledge of has been transformed. So good.
So good. And then she just starts drinking his blood with a straw because she thinks he's a human because he's been playing
Mm-hmm.
dumb. And I will admit, when I first watched this episode, I was so mad. I'm like, why are you pretending to be dumb? And as soon as she started drinking his blood, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm the dumb one. Of course. He's tricking her so that she can be caught. Because the way it's revealed at the end when the Judoon come to get her and like she admits what her crime was, she was like, that child princess deserved it.
I know.
I'm like,
Hello?
girl, hello?
Like, what happened there?
Yeah, what happened in your life to make you like this? Yeah.
And I always kind of forget the twist that Ten lets her drink his blood because he knows
Yeah.
the Jadoon will find her.
Yeah, no. I forget that twist too. And I also forget the twist where even after like the Judoon take care of her and all of that and like the Judoon leave, that like the MRI machine starts gearing up again to do what
Mhm.
she had planned to do. And so like he has to stop it all.
Yeah. And the way Martha has to use literally her last breath to wake him up.
Yeah. Which, okay, look, I know he's a Time Lord, so I can't judge this by human standards, but the amount of time he was completely out, like dead, and I'm saying that using air quotes, is insane. And he didn't regenerate at all. And then Martha finally goes to like perform CPR on him. And I just feel like it was absurdly too
You're right.
long for him to
You're
like
not
actually
wrong.
be fine.
Yeah. He was just taking a nap, just a quick little nap.
Just like the one in the Idiot's Lantern when he was
No,
knocked
that's
out.
exactly what I was thinking about. Like when he was knocked out for so long in the Idiot's Lantern after getting slapped.
But then they all return.
10 is able to save the day, and while barefoot, carries Martha to the window, I guess. I don't know what he was
Yeah.
doing. And then they all, I love when the line, he's like, it's raining on the moon. And that's how we know we're going back. And then everyone's back.
Yes.
All the people see the hospital back. And that one guy is immediately talking to the news. And everything is back to normal.
Yeah. Then like the radio is playing with the like that one med student who's basically acting like he was there for every single second of the thing when I swear he
Yeah.
was one of the people freaking out.
No, literally. He's acting like he ran the hospital. I'm like, sir.
No, literally. But, you know, while this is going on, there's like a name drop of Mr. Saxon.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Saxon was right. There are life forms on other planets. And then we are back with the Joneses and seeing the fallout of Leo's birthday, and it is the night does not end well.
No, it does not.
And then you just have 10 kind of creepily lurking in the alleyway.
No, that's literally what I was going to bring up because that is creepy. I would personally be creeped out no matter how great he looked. I would be creeped out by a man just peering
Yeah,
around the corner when it's dark
definitely.
outside in like a dark alleyway.
No, me too. I love when 10 invites Martha to go on a trip and she's like, I can't, I have exams. Because nothing is more real than that.
And when 10 is like, oh, did I mention it's a time machine? And she's like, yeah, right. Nice try.
Yes, and then we see him going back and taking off the tie and coming back.
Yeah. And like her realizing that is so cute.
And I love her reaction to seeing the inside of the TARDIS for the first time.
Yeah.
Such an underrated moment. And I love David / 10 kind of mouthing along with her. And then he's like, is it? I hadn't noticed.
I love that so much. And then he mentions Rose. He's like, well, you know, I had this friend, we were together. Anyway,
We were together.
exactly. Not like we traveled together, not like we were friends. No, we were together. Confirmation. Confirmation for all those doubters.
He said it right there, folks. He said it.
He did. And then he really firmly to Martha was like, you are not replacing her, which is like low-key
I know.
aggressive.
No, he's very aggressive there. And he's like, one trip. That's all. One trip. And it's like, she didn't ask. Like, she's just here. You invited her. And now you're like,
Yeah.
you're not replacing her. Only one trip. And it's like, okay, guy, calm down.
No, literally. But I think, too, he was still like dealing with the fallout of everything with Rose and Doomsday. And then, like, Donna being like, no, I can't do this, but you need someone. I think he just like, he knew he needed a companion. He knew he enjoyed having one traveling with him, but he also didn't want to lose someone else because he knows it's inevitable. So I think that definitely was like the biggest part in that, but he could have gotten the message across, you know, being a little nicer.
The way he talks about Rose in this episode really shows
Yeah.
how deep the pain is and how raw it is and how still fresh it is. We never
Yeah.
see him talking about anyone else like he is here, and talking about how he lost her and, saying her name. Like, we never see the doctor do that. So,
Yeah.
ugh, painful.
So painful. And then they're off. And I do love like the very
Oh, me
last part of
too.
the end of this episode where they're just like all excited and taking off on a new adventure. I love that.
Me too. No, it makes me so excited to keep talking about these two. Really underrated duo and dynamic,
Yeah,
but I'm just so happy we're here to talk about Martha. I'm so excited.
me too. We have some really wonderful episodes coming up that I feel are definitely way stronger than series 2 by a long shot.
Mhm. Definitely. So, if you're new, every single week we name two things: the star of the show, which is just a character that we really loved and was the star of the show, and the heart of the episode, what the episode was about, what it means, what the message was to us. So, Haley, who's the star of the show?
Star of the show
Feel
for
it.
me is definitely Martha. She's just great.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree.
I can't choose anyone else.
Yeah, no one does what she does in this episode.
No.
All the side characters, like meeting the Joneses, that's fun, seeing them, but star of the show has to go to Martha. Sorry, it just does.
Yeah, and something I forgot to mention that I want to mention here is that like in the midst of investigating everything with the doctor and running along with him, she's still checking in on people and making sure
Mm.
they have what they need and keeping tabs on like the oxygen situation and just generally like she is very much a woman who can do two things. She can adventure with a doctor and also make sure everyone is okay. And that's what I love in a companion. And she just does it so well.
You nailed it. I completely agree.
What is the heart of the episode for you?
Such a good question. The heart of the episode is, if you ever stuck on the moon in a hospital with the Jadoon and you're trying to cover up the fact that you're not human and you drink humans' blood to cover up that fact, you should probably double check that they actually are human before you do so.
Yeah. I completely agree with you.
Do we have any reviews from the past?
Yes, we do. Although I will say I am only going to be reading one review because a lot of people kind of had very similar feelings about the episode, and I didn't want to be super repetitive. So this review is a bit lengthy, so I will be paraphrasing. But this review I have is from IMDb. It was written and posted on March 31st, 2007 by the user DVD_connoisseur. And they said, Smith and Jones is a superb beginning to the third series of Doctor Who. Fast paced, exciting, and funny. This episode's story would always be overshadowed by its purpose, the introduction of a new companion for Tennant's Doctor. The exquisitely beautiful and talented Freema Agyeman sizzles on the screen. It would not come as a surprise to me if she ranks as a favorite companion in years to come. Brave, intelligent, and adventurous, this new companion will definitely be a match for the Doctor and will bring a new element to the series. The fans mourning the departure of Rose will soon find themselves hooked by Martha Jones, not to mention her family. As always, Murray Gold's music is big and beautiful, and the straight to the point Jadoon are a great creation from the mind of Russell T Davies. Following the first season's Bad Wolf clues, after viewing The Runaway Bride and Smith and Jones, the sharp-eyed viewer may well be pondering, just who is Mr. Saxon?
Ooh, does anyone give any predictions?
Not in this review, but in another review, yes, and they guessed it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the easiest. Anytime anything happens in the show, it's what we'll go to. So,
No,
makes
so
sense.
true. I will say it hasn't been the Ronnie or Susan. For those of you who aren't aware, every time anything is going on in Doctor Who in any episode, literally ever, that's building up to some sort of villain or some kind of arc, everyone's like, it's Susan or it's the Ronnie. It's
and
one
I'm
of
there
them.
every time. I'm like, it might be. Maybe it will be. Maybe Susan Twist is Susan. No.
No, she wasn't.
No.
She
Of course
wasn't,
not.
but I believed her for a second.
I
They had me
I really
fooled.
did. They fooled us all.
They really did. But yeah, all in all, love this episode, Smith and Jones. It's one of these episodes that's just like such a fun time. And like you mentioned earlier, it is a really great series opener and one of RTD's best openers for sure.
Definitely. It's a great way to introduce Martha. You're immediately captivated by her, interested in her. You know who she is. She's hardworking, self-assured. She's older than Rose, more grown up, more mature, and you immediately get her. And I think they did this introduction really, really well. And David and Freema play off each other really well in this episode as well.
They definitely do, and I cannot wait to continue talking about them in series 3.
With all that said, we will be back next week with the Shakespeare Code.
Yes, we will. And as always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at TimeyWimeyPod.
Definitely follow us there because Haley has been making and posting some amazing edits that will break your heart, and you just have to go see them. So definitely go check out our socials.
Yes.
And email us anything and everything to timeywimeypod@gmail.com.
And leave us a review on your podcast listening platform. And we will talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Ta-ra.